So we'll get started today then. And before we get started, I just want to ask a favor of everybody that's here. And that is everybody that has my email address, I'd really like for you to email me some subjects that, sorry, sorry, it threw me off. A subject that you might like for tips and tricks in the future. We're starting to get a little bit sparse. And so if we want to continue, which I do, I sure hope everybody else does, we need some more suggestions coming our way. And again, this tips and tricks is about all of us, for all of us. So definitely everybody is invited and I want you to participate. I hope that you want to too. So if you want to send me any ideas, that would be absolutely fantastic. Bob helps me out with those lists, so we'll work on it from there. And so our lead today is John Glass, and he is going to talk about how him and Susan, as blind people, do their finances. And then I have some info I'll throw in on how I do mine, and anybody else that wants to after John is finished, or any questions that you might have for him. So,
and speak your account number clearly.
Oh, and which bank?
Yeah.
Right.
Checking our savings.
Oh, password too.
Yeah.
I say classic.
Send a picture of that card.
Yeah, right. Might as well drop off your card.
Okay, John, it's all yours.
All right. Well, thank you, Bevy, and good morning, everybody. And it's a real honor and pleasure to be here. I really enjoy tips and tricks, and am going to do my best to try to come up with some additional ideas to pass on to Bevy and Bob, because I think this is a wonderful idea, and what a great group of people. You all are fantastic. So my name is John Glass. I am totally blind and have been all of my life. And I'm 62 now, just to give all of you a perspective on the person that you're hearing from. My wife, Susan Glass, is also a Vista Center board member and client. She has been totally blind all her life as well. And Bevy asked me if I would talk a little bit about how we handle our finances as two blind people. And of course, I told her that I would be happy to do that. So what I'd like to start off by doing is I want to tell you that I facilitate a mentor group in Palo Alto. And at our meeting just last week, there were a couple of people who asked me, as a blind person, how do you keep track of cash? When you have cash, how do you know what all you have, and how do you organize it and keep it so that you can get what you need when you need it? So we actually started off talking about coins, and there was a person who had recently lost most of their vision who wanted to know the best way for identifying coins. And what we told this person is that the best way to identify coins is by touch. And of course, all of you probably know that the dime, quarter, and 50-cent piece all have a serrated edge. Mm-hmm. Whereas the penny, the nickel, and what I consider to be relatively new dollar coin, it's called the golden dollar. Those three coins all have a smooth edge. And so, hello, Perla. So you can identify coins very easily by touch. And for those of you, by the way, who are not familiar with the golden dollar, I didn't realize that it existed until about a year ago. And the only place that I've run into this particular coin is at Caltrain. If you purchase a ticket using cash through one of their ticket machines at a station, and the machine needs to give you change, what it does is it gives you these golden dollar coins. And they're a little bit larger than a quarter. And like I said, they have a smooth edge. So they're pretty easy to identify. But I didn't know that those coins existed. The only dollar coins I was familiar with were the ones that we used to get in the 70s and 80s and 90s, where, you know, that were a fairly large coin. You find them at casinos from time to time, and they do have a serrated edge. But I haven't gotten one of those in just regular circulation in probably over 30 years. So that's not one that we're going to run into very often. So then we moved on to paper money. And this is what people really had a lot of questions about. They wanted to know how to identify it and organize it. And to identify paper money, there are a couple of apps that you can install on your smartphone that allow you to use the phone's camera to determine what denomination each bill is that you present it with. The two applications that I'm familiar with, there's one that was produced by the, I believe it's called the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, or it's Printing and Engraving. I can't remember the order of the two words, but it's called iNote, I-N-O-T-E. I have this app installed on my iPhone, and I use it on a very regular basis. The way it works is you open up the app, and then you hold the back camera of your iPhone over a bill. And when I say hold it over a bill, you want to be about, probably 8 to 10 inches above the bill. And what it will do is it will tell you what that bill is, whether it's a 1, 5, 10, 20, and so forth. And you don't have to push any buttons on the phone, on the screen, in order to get it to identify money. It's when it's loaded, the camera is just constantly looking for paper money, and whenever it sees a bill, it will tell you immediately the denomination of that bill. I was with a friend the other day, and he happened to mention that he had a $2 bill with him, which many of you know, they tend to be kind of rare. And I was real curious to see if iNote would identify it correctly, and it does. So if you ever run into a $2 bill, it will identify it. It will also identify a $50 and $100 bill. I'd love to get a $1,000 bill from the 70s and see if it would identify that.
We might have one either.
But I don't know anybody who has one. In all seriousness, if any of you do have one, and you don't need to speak up now, but if any of you do have access to one, you're welcome to call me or email me, and I would love to try it with this app just to see. I'm curious to see if it would identify it. The other app that I've used for identifying money is also available free of charge, and it's called Seeing AI. Many of you may be familiar with that app. It has a money identifier feature built into it, and that works really well. So once you've identified your money, what is the best way to organize it so that when you're out and about and doing some shopping and you pull out your wallet and want to pay for something using cash, how do you keep track of it? Because obviously, when you're standing at a cash register and a line is building up behind you, you don't want to have to load an app on your phone and try to identify individual bills. And many of us may not feel comfortable asking the cashier or another customer to help us identify bills. So what many of us have done since we were little is we have developed a system for folding our money so that when we put it away in our wallet, we know what it is that we know what each bill is. And so my system is I keep $1 bills straight. I fold a $5 bill in half. I fold tens in thirds. If a $20 bill, I fold that lengthwise. And if I have a bill larger than a 20, which would be either a 50 or 100, which I don't have very often, I keep those in a separate compartment. I keep those separated from my regular everyday bills, if you will, so that I don't accidentally mix them up.
Can I say what I have, how I fold mine?
Absolutely.
You know, this is a funny subject too, because when I was at OCB, I was handing a friend back some change because I'd gone to the store. And so I had my way, of course, of folding them. There's no universal way. Everybody just does it the way they want to do it for themselves. So I handed him the money and he said, "Why don't you fold your money right?" And I'm like, "According to whom?" So my ones, I take and fold it in half and fold it in half again. So it's folded over twice.
That
And
would-
then my
that would be-
five,
That
what?
would be, your one would be my 10.
Exactly. That's why I wanted to add to it.
Yeah.
And so my 5 is folded in half lengthwise, not lengthwise, but in half. And then folded over again to where it's, the ones are all folded together. The 5s are folded separately and they're longer. Gosh, it's hard. If anybody wants to really know how I fold them, then just ask me when I'm with you and I'll show you. The 10s I fold into like squares and the 20s are straight. The 50s are folded in half. And one time when I had finished massaging a person, he gave me $100 bill and said to keep it. And I said, "How am I going to fold this?" Well, I learned. So the way I fold my 100 is lengthwise, just once. And so it will lay at the bottom of my wallet quite nicely. So it doesn't fall out. So that's how I do mine.
No, that's great. Well, and something that you all might find kind of amusing is that my wife Susan and I, while we've known each other since we were kids, we've actually been together now for 19 years, and our two systems are different.
Yeah.
And so when she hands me a 5, I think it's a 10, and I have to remember, and so does she, that our two systems are different, and neither one of us wants to change because we've been using our system since we were probably 10 years old.
Right.
And there's something about that old saying about it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks, I guess. But
One thing, John, I'd like to add to the end of that too, as we hand somebody our money and say it's $7.85 and we give them a 20, then of course the change, I don't care, I just put it in there, I'll feel it later. But the rest of it, I'll say, which ones are the ones, which one is the 10, which one, as they give it back to me, so that they give me all the ones and I fold them real quick, put them in my wallet, and then they give me the whatever it is next and I fold it real quick and put it in my wallet. So
I always try to do the same thing, and the only time that I don't is if the person doesn't offer to do it and things are really busy. If I know that a line is stacking up behind me, I may not ask the person to do that. I may just take the bills that they give me, put them in a pocket, and then identify them, when I get home and fold them the way that I want them.
yeah, I've also done it that way too. Yeah.
Yeah. So does anybody else have any tips and tricks having to do with cash, either coins or paper money, that they'd like to tell us about?
Yeah, John, this is Lloyd. What I do, because I put all my money in order from ones to 20s. Cause I don't like anything larger than a 20.
Uh-huh.
And I just keep count of each one. And I've learned to do that pretty good. Even when I get my change back, when I get home, I'll figure out what they are. And I just put them back into the order and keep track of how many that of whatever bill it is. And I just keep track that way. And it seems to work pretty good for me.
So you might realize or remember that you have 6 ones, 3 $5 bills, and 2 tens.
Correct.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's
Yeah, because I got a pretty good memory for things.
sure, sure. Well, the other way that we can identify bills is by using a little device called the iBill. Do you all know what that is?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Well, for the people who aren't familiar with it, it's a little handheld talking device that is available to us free of charge. I believe you can request it through the National Library Service library in Sacramento. And when you receive it, it's yours to keep. You don't have to return it. And it's just a little unit that has a slot, and you slide a bill into the slot and push a little button, and it tells you what the bill is. So it provides the same function or feedback that we get from the apps that we can put on our phones, but this is a way of having a dedicated little device just for identifying money. It doesn't have any other features or capabilities. And for those of you who are familiar with it, I don't have one immediately in front of me. How would you describe it, or what would you say about its size?
I would say it's pretty small, about half an inch in thickness and maybe 3 inches in width. Um, but it is a pretty small device. I think it also has a keychain link so that you can put on your keychains and carry it around. It weighs about maybe half a pound, so not too heavy. Easy to carry around. Not that easy. It's noticeable in the pocket, but still, I think they made it as small as it can make it.
And one thing, sorry,
iBill.
iBill, thank you.
this is Bob. One thing with the iBill, it can either speak out loud the denomination of the bill, or you can switch it to where it'll vibrate. And based on the number of vibrations, you'll know whether it's a 1 or a 5. So like if you're out in public and you don't want people to know the money that you've got, you can put it on vibrate. And then as you slide the
that's a good thing.
money through, it'll
Wow.
vibrate.
That's a good thing.
This is Diane. Another thing I wanted to say about the iBill is the battery lasts a long time. So you're not going to have to change it every 30 days or unless you really use it all the time.
Yeah, thanks for that, Diane. You're absolutely right. And it runs on a single AAA battery, and it lasts a long time. I mean, when I used to use one on a regular basis, I think I only had to change the battery once or twice a year.
Yeah, me too.
So that's really a nice little thing to have in your toolkit of devices for helping us identify things.
Wow.
The other thing that I wanted to say about cash before we move on to other topics is many of you may be familiar with talking ATMs, automatic teller machines. But if you aren't, most ATMs now have a headphone jack in the front panel, or on the front panel of the machine. And what you can do is plug a pair of earbuds in and the machine will start talking to you. What it will do is it will describe the layout of the machine. It'll tell you where the slot is for inserting your card. It will give you a brief overview of the keypad layout. And then when you do insert your card, it will ask you for your PIN number. You enter that on the keypad and press the enter button, of course. And once you have done that, you're able to perform transactions on the machine, and you get voice feedback for all of your transactions. So you can withdraw cash, you can make a deposit, you can check balances. There are probably some other things that you can do that I'm not thinking of right now. But this is a real convenient way for us to be able to interact with a machine privately. Now, having said that, I will tell you that I personally will only use a machine that way if I'm inside of a bank branch or a grocery store that has one or that sort of thing. I don't feel comfortable standing on a street corner with loud traffic going by and everything, using the ATM by myself, because there may be somebody who's standing behind me watching everything that I'm doing, and I may not be aware that they're doing that. And so I really like the fact that these exist, but I'm careful myself personally as to where I use them.
No,
I was going to say, anyone have any experiences with talking ATMs or anything that you'd like to say about those?
with most machines, I think the code to turn off the screen is star. I'm trying to remember the code, but I used to use those talking ATMs all the time. But there's a code. It usually, what's unfortunate is it tells you the layout of the machine, and it'll tell you the code to turn off the screen.
So other people
Oh,
can
I
see.
didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So the screen goes black, and it's still working and operating and all that, but they can't see it.
I'd forgotten about that function, Roberto. Thank you. Yeah, that's a really good thing to do.
Yeah.
And I have used that function, by the way. I just had forgotten about it.
I would probably even use it inside the bank if I was going to use one, just because, turn off the code.
I think what was annoying to me the most about ATMs, talking ATMs, is for every bank I went to, for some reason, the same functions didn't apply. Like one bank, it would press 1 for checkings, press 2 for savings. In another bank, it was press 08 to do checkings and 09 to do. I don't know why that those configurations were set like that. There's never no standard, so that part was kind of annoying for me. But either way, I like that you could just simply plug in your headphones and they start talking to you.
May I just totally refuse to use ATMs. If me, like with me, I just go to the bank and go in and have the teller help me and stuff. And one teller asked me, well, can you use the ATM? And I go, no, I'm blind. And well, I'll help you. Okay. And she helped me, which was very good. And she told me, I promise you, I'll forget your PIN number and stuff. Okay.
Famous last
But-
words.
Yeah. So anyway, most of the time, if I can't get to the bank to get any money, I just won't go. I'll go without.
Well, the bank that Susan and I use is Wells Fargo. And one of the things that I will say, just to echo what Lloyd just said, the tellers are always very helpful. And
Yes,
one of
sir.
the things that I have found is that when I go into the bank and I'm talking with a teller, they always have a tactile keypad at their counter. And what's nice about that is that when
The time is
you need to enter the PIN code, what they'll do is they'll ask you to enter it on the keypad, so you don't have to actually speak it to the person.
Mhm.
And I really like that because the keypads are easy to use. They have a tactile marking, a dot on the 5 button, so it's easy to get yourself oriented to the keypad. And I really appreciate the fact that they have them, because like,
I do too.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
yeah, because you know, that way, if you have people standing behind you in line or that sort of thing, you're not speaking your PIN code.
Correct. Like with me, I just happen to remember the keypad because I just went blind this last year. And I just happen to remember where all the numbers are.
Sure.
It
Sure.
makes it easy for me.
Well, it's easy to do a keypad for any blind person. If you know where the 5 is, you know where the
Yeah.
rest of them are.
Yeah, well, all the keypads are the same.
Right, exactly.
I
So
think
it makes it really easy.
I think one thing that's been unfortunate about some keypads is some of these stores they put some protection on those so that fingerprints can't be lifted.
Yeah,
So they put this layer on top of that keypad, which then kind of distorts that 5. So now you can't find the 5. So you're like,
exactly.
oh.
Right.
But you know, things have changed. So
Oh yeah.
Well, with me, that was me when I go to the bank. I can type the code in it, but some of those keys are so small, it's really hard to navigate them every once in a while. Yeah, the 5 is a good thing. So the only thing I have trouble with is now you just tap your card. I have a debit card,
Yeah,
and sometimes I kind of don't know where to tap on the screen. So I just ask the teller, she says, I just tap on the screen. So I tap on it. And then sometimes I can hear it, like hear it go beep like that. And I know it's in. And I just type my code in. And I have a real easy code. And I did that on purpose. So I wouldn't forget it. So that's how I do it.
Yeah, it's always good to have a code that's easy to remember.
yes.
Yeah, exactly right.
There's no question about that.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I wanted to say is that at least with Wells Fargo, they have a real nice telephone system that you can call into. And it allows you to, it's an automated system, so you control it with the keypad on your phone. And what it allows you to do is do things like check your balance, review recent transactions, transfer money between accounts. It's really convenient to be able to check the account and do those kinds of functions. Also, at least with Wells Fargo, they have a real nice smartphone app that I have on my iPhone, and I find that to be very user friendly with voiceover, the speech output for the iPhone. Bevy, I think you use it too, don't you?
I use Chase. And that's what I was thinking actually, because any information that everybody's talking about right now, I can do on my phone app with Chase. I used to be with Wells Fargo, but I switched over to Chase, and it is so helpful. It tells me how much is in every account. It tells me, and they even send me emails that says when a credit card is coming up to be due, and that their credit cards, like Southwest and stuff like that. And so I can just go right there and pay my bills in no time. So that is, yeah, I use my all the time. It's the most wonderful thing ever to be able to give me that independence, to pay my bills, to know how much money I've got, to be able to transfer from one account to another or whatever. So
Oh, it
I have-
definitely is.
I have
It is.
US Bank and it does the same thing.
yeah,
All of that, and has Zelle on it too.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Mine
with
has
the US
Zelle
Bank, too.
Yeah.
What is
Right.
Zelle?
What I did with mine is all my bills electronically taken out automatically. I had it set up that way, which that's a good thing for me.
I have some of that in a different bank.
Yeah,
And-
I got auto pay with my.
Yeah, auto pay. And also the problem with my bank is that, and I tried doing that. It says type the code in for to open your account and find out what you have in there. But the problem is it does it so quick, you don't have a chance to,
Mhm.
Mine does Face ID. And
Mine
so,
too.
Yeah,
Love it.
so with Face ID, it just is boom, and you're in.
And
Yeah.
my phone doesn't have it, I don't think.
What is, I'm sorry, what is Zelle? Did you mention Zelle? What's
That's
that?
a app to pay bills, transfer money.
If
people
I owe
pay
you money and I
Oh,
have Zelle and you have Zelle,
Gotcha.
it'll just put it right in your checking account.
So like it doesn't
Minutes.
matter which bank account. You can have US Bank, Denise can have US Bank, Bevy can have Chase, and you can have Wells Fargo, for example. And all of you guys can still send money to each other instantly.
Okay.
Wow.
It's
That's
similar
it's free.
to it's similar to PayPal if any of you have had experience using it.
Right.
Oh, I don't like
John, it's Holly. I wanted to
This
add
is
to
Pearla.
Will,
Wait, we got two people talking at once. I'm not sure which one started first, but Holly, do you want to share what you want?
oh, sure. I also have Wells Fargo, John, and met with a banker last year, been very pleased with them. Got things all nicely set up so that I am clearly able to on the joint account with my husband. And got it set up that all transactions, I would get a notification, so I get emails every time something happens at the bank. And they also send a text message, with my balances or any of that, so I can really monitor it, and it works great on my phone with VoiceOver. And we got to sign up for free, what do you call it, when they watch your credit? And do
Credit
the
scores.
Yes, and so every single month I am able to monitor, because they're monitoring my credit score and see if there's been any changes in any areas, and they email that to me, and I use the app. So I am so thrilled that I'm able to do that kind of banking, and Wells Fargo's been great. So wanted to share
Can I
that.
say something? You gotta watch that because I've been getting scams to do that. And I got this one scam one day saying there was a transaction on my credit card that was fraudulent, and they gave me the phone number. I go, wow, this is odd. So I had to call the bank, and I called my bank and said, no, we don't do that kind of stuff.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So you gotta watch that very closely. There's a lot of fraud. I mean, a lot of not fraud, but a lot of scams out there now that'll actually do that.
There was somebody.
I think
on the
Perla
screen.
wanted to say something.
Yes, thank you.
Hi, I use Wells Fargo as well as some other banks, but I don't know if anybody still does checks, but
Yes.
I was able to order from, my local branch. Everybody said, oh, we don't have any such thing, but I knew that there was such a thing. So I called the main office of Wells Fargo and got special checks. They're large and they have raised lines where you have to write things in.
Yeah.
So I wanted people to know that that's available at Wells Fargo and probably other banks if you pursue asking for them, and there's no charge.
Yes, it is at other banks too. And the wonderful thing about those checks, I've had them for a long time, and they have a carbon. So you don't have to
Right.
worry about writing it in a register anywhere else. You automatically have a
Right.
carbon copy of every check you just wrote.
Right.
That's
Our guideline checks by Deluxe.
Yeah.
The only problem with my situation is I have those checks too, and I can't always make out a check by myself because I only got one part of my eye here, only 10%. So even though I'm looking at something on the screen, I can't see the whole picture.
You feel it. I can't see anything.
Well, yeah, you can feel it, but you can't feel the numbers on the check. That's kind of hard to do.
You don't.
No, I can feel the line. That's the problem. But the number of the check and all that, where they put the date and all that, that's really rough for me. So
Well, there are lines. Like
On
there's a
everything.
line where you write the date. There's a
Right.
line where you write the amount. There's a line for your signature. There's
And
a
who-
Yeah, I know
line
that.
for the. So,
I mean, raised lines, embossed
it's
lines.
not easy, I have to say, it's not easy. And I'm thinking they should have had one of those form mats that you could put over it that has the boxes, but I think I'm going to ask my girlfriend to make one for me, to take like a cardboard kind of piece and cut out the places where you write things in. That would make it even easier.
You know,
So,
they
I'm thinking
do
about-
have in the blind catalogs, they do have checkbook things where they're plastic and they're for normal size checks. And you open it up and you put your check in there, it fits your check perfectly, and then you close it back up again. And now it has exactly what you're talking about, Perla. It has where to write the date and the who it's to and all that stuff. But I never thought about for the raised lines. That's a good idea. Yeah.
The other thing you gotta look out for on the checks you get, the account number is on the opposite side as the regular one. It's not, it's on the right side instead of the left.
Also, if you trust someone, you can have them write in the information and you just sign your name on the check.
Yeah, it's kind of nice though to be able to be the independent one.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I have an AM support service worker that does that for me. You know, she doesn't mind doing it.
Yeah,
So what I do, I have her make out a bunch, I have her make like my rent check. I have her make out, you know, a few of them at one time, so I don't have to worry about it, just sign my name, and that's it. You know,
One of the things that I want to mention before we leave this money part that we're talking about is the credit cards. And it actually was my ex-husband that did it for me the first time, but I have different credit cards. And so with the different credit cards, I always have a sighted person do it for me, so I don't go into the part where it could mess it up for the machine. But like some of them have 2 notches on each side. One of them has 2 notches on one side, each side. One of them has 3 notches on the top. One of them has 1 notch on the top. So I never, because I do use credit cards a lot instead of cash. And I never have to ask somebody, what is this card? I go feel the one that I want, and then I just give them the card that I want to give them. So that really helps with independence too.
Oh, I'll have
How
to
do you
look. I
make
never,
the
wow.
notches?
What's that?
How do you
I'll have
make
to
the
look.
notches?
With that, you can do it with a sharp knife. You know, it doesn't go down very far.
Oh, I see.
Because you don't want to damage anything on the card, so it won't work in the machines. But yeah, it just, or you could even use, I don't know, scissors. I think a really sharp knife, and you just notch it a little bit.
Oh, you use a knife to do that. Oh, okay. I thought you said they were already there. Oh,
Many
Yeah.
of the banks, and credit card companies also offer
Yes.
cards that are brailled or large print.
Mhm.
And so and these are available free of charge. So if you feel comfortable using braille or large print, this is something that you can ask for. The other thing that the banks and credit card companies offer are bank statements in braille and also large print. So you can receive a monthly statement in either of those formats if that's helpful.
The one thing I have set up on my card is if there's any money taken out over $100, I get an alert about it. If there's anything deposited over $100, I get an alert about it.
I wouldn't care about the deposits.
Yeah, me neither, but that's the way they set it up for me, because the bank actually set it up in my phone for me to get those alerts that way.
Actually, you do want to know about those deposits, because then it's okay
You
to
know
go.
how much money you got.
Right.
'Cause every month when I get my social security checks, they send me an alert, let me know it's there and everything.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
While we're talking about paying for things, has anyone had experience using Apple Pay?
yes.
yes.
Yes, a
May-
little bit. I don't have much experience, but I'd
Maybe
sure like to hear more about it.
Every day.
Diane or Roberto, it sounds like maybe one of you can give
And
people
Holly, yeah.
Holly, an overview of what Apple Pay is and how you use it.
I'll defer to the guys.
Well, I had it for a while, and it works pretty good, except sometimes you go to a store and it's hard because like I said, you gotta hold over a screen. Well, if you kind of can't, if you don't kind of know where the screen is, you can't see to use it. So I use it here, but the problem with Apple Pay I found out is that once you have Apple Pay in there, you have to type a code in your phone every time to open it up. And that's kind of sometimes a pain in the rear end. So I used it for a while, and then I had it deleted. I'll probably get it reinstalled again. Won't be too
So
It's-
I'd just like to say for people who aren't familiar with it, Apple Pay is an app that you run on your phone, and it allows you to use your phone to pay for goods and services at places that accept Apple Pay. And basically, what you do is you hold your phone over a reader, if you will, which is a little device that that the store has, and it makes a sound. It's kind of a beep sound, as I remember, to let you know that it accepted your payment. And so you have a bank account or credit card tied to your Apple Pay. In other words, when you're setting Apple Pay up, you enter that information, and it's a way of being able to pay bills without having to, or when I say pay bills, what I mean is pay in person when you're at a store that accepts Apple Pay. It's a way of doing that without having to dig a credit card out of your wallet and that sort of thing. You can just do it directly with your phone as though your phone were a credit card. That might be one way to look at it.
I haven't done it at the store yet, because usually there's a line, and I don't want to keep people waiting. So, but I have done it over the internet when I buy something,
Yeah, me too.
and it's you got to double click the side button and twice, and then that'll set everything in motion.
Right.
Okay,
Roberta?
so I will add on a
This is for
few.
lot.
Mhm.
Oh, I just wanted to say that in the oh shoot, there's an app that is related to Apple Pay, but oh, it's called Wallet. So in your wallet, you can put your other credit cards, and you can select which credit card you want to pay with.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you brought that up, Erlo.
So Wallet is Apple Pay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
And
It's affiliated, yeah.
yeah, that's where the Apple Pay cards are in. So when you, as John was mentioning, that's where you would put in your cards. It's either one of two things will happen. It will either scan your card, which is the best part when it actually does that, meaning you just place your card under your phone and it'll scan it. For some reason, sometimes it won't do it. So it wants to take a picture of it, and then it wants you to fill in the rest of the information when you're setting it up. Some banks do work with Apple Pay. Some banks don't work with Apple Pay. But this whole setup process is done through the Wallet app. And so let's just see. You could choose which ones you want to set as your priority payment. You can also choose if you want to link your bank account to the Wallet app. So this way you can actually, if you're using Apple Intelligence, you can actually ask Apple Intelligence, what's my balance? And Apple Intelligence will tell you what your current balance is on your bank account. So some banks are already permitting that. Some banks are not yet. Let's see what else to add in. Okay, now as far as when it comes to making those transactions, meaning you're at the store, my experience has been really seamless. Yes, sometimes you just have to kind of, for me, it's kind of been just second nature to just reach, and I kind of guess where the device is at, and I just put my phone over it. Now, for the most part, I will place my phone more towards the left bottom side of the machine.
okay.
That's where I tend to get the best readings. Sometimes it'll scan it right before you're even landing the phone because it detects it right away. And if you're using a tablet, because some people are using tablets as a way of processing those transactions, you primarily want to scan your phone more in the middle. So more in the middle if it's a tablet, and if it's a terminal, then you want to put it more on the left bottom side of the machine.
So I have a question. When you when you have, are you saying that you have to, which part of the wallet do you go to even start this process? You open your wallet on your phone.
Oh, the same thing, double click on the side. So let's just say I'm at the store. I
Yeah,
will hit the side button twice. That will cause the wallet app to appear, which is Apple Pay. And so right there, when you do that, at the terminal, you basically hover your phone above the terminal on the left bottom side of the terminal, and it will process. It's a seamless transaction. Your
Oh.
phone will vibrate to let you know the transaction has went through. The machine, the terminal will make that ding noise that you guys are familiar with.
Mhm.
And your phone will then display the transaction also. So later on, if they ripped you off for whatever reason, you have the transaction on your phone.
Wow, I didn't know that. Thank you, Roberto.
What about my phone problem is I have to use your home button.
But it's John, yours is that sometimes your fingerprint doesn't go through. So
Yeah, it doesn't.
so when your fingerprint or your face doesn't get detected for whatever reason, or your fingerprint doesn't get detected, then it will follow up with please enter your PIN.
Yeah, I know.
Your phone password, I meant to say.
Quick
Yeah.
question, Roberto. When do we do the Face ID? Do we double click, look at our phone, and then
So
put it over the terminal?
I'll do a role play really
Oh,
quick.
please
So
do. Yeah.
here we go. I'm in line. I have 25 items.
Hurry up, we
With
got a whole
X.
bunch of people behind you.
Exactly. This is why I love this. It makes my process actually a lot faster than what I used to do it. So let's just say I'm a Target and I have my Siri shortcut set up. Yes, I'm gonna brag a little bit. Here we go. And so what I'll tell my phone is, hey, pull up my Target wallet because I'm about to scan my Target code, so I can get those extra points. Then I'll double click on the side button to make my Apple Pay appear, and I'll hover it over the machine. The machine will then, what do you call it?
Read it.
Basically detect it instantly. It will vibrate. My phone will vibrate, letting me know, hey, your transaction has been processed. Now, when I double click that side button, it's immediately looking for my face, just so you guys know.
Oh,
So that very moment you hit that side button twice, it's looking for your face, just like if you were to do an online transaction.
okay,
The exact same thing is going on.
okay.
So hold the phone looking towards my face and double click the side button.
Mhm.
More like just stand in front of the terminal. Your face, now depending on how you set up Face ID, it should detect it instantly. You don't have to look at your phone straight ahead. With my face, it's been pretty accurate. Like I'm not looking straight ahead because I don't know if I'm doing that. So I think it's just your posture. You eventually start to kind of get familiarized with your posture of your body, and you'll eventually become second nature. You won't even have to think about it.
So then you do your Face ID, your Face ID first, of course, and then turn it, put it over the,
Yeah, so you can actually prepare it before, which is kind of cool. So let's just say, for example, I'm waiting in line, my 25 items, they're getting scanned. The 25 items have been scanned. And now the thing is, as these 25 items are being scanned, I can already double tap the side button, causing the wallet app to appear. Let it scan my face. VoiceOver will say, hover over the terminal because it's ready to process. So now I just hover my phone over the terminal on the bottom left side of the terminal, and then you'll hear that your phone will vibrate, or in VoiceOver will say transactions complete. And then you hear the terminal on the cashier side basically, make that noise ding. So you know what's going on. It's for me, it's been pretty easy, smooth transactions. I've been able to use Apple Pay in almost every location, whether with Paracruz or whether with at any store. So it's just very handy.
Where do you pay for Paracruz? Do you have to
Yeah.
go to the Paracruz?
No, so you have to go to the Santa Cruz Transit Center, and you
Yeah.
tell them you want to put $40 in your account,
Right,
and you do
Yeah.
Apple Pay.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yes, you gotta go to Watsonville, because no,
You can do Watsonville or Santa Cruz, any of those two.
well, Santa Cruz is not there anymore. I think.
But they still have an office.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, the office is somewhere else, but it's still there.
Okay.
So,
Where is it?
huh? So it's basically in front of, or not in front of, but on the side of CVS.
Okay.
Yeah, yes,
Oh,
you're right.
okay.
It's in front of, it's on Front Street, but on the side of
I
CVS,
didn't know that.
depending on how you look at it, I guess.
Yeah.
So Roberto, I know that when Apple first came out with Face ID, there were some issues that some blind folks had because the phone was actually wanting to see their eyes. And from what I understand, my phone, I'm using an iPhone SE3, so mine still has the home button. And I have not had personal experience with Face ID yet. But I understand that there's an option somewhere in settings that allows you to change it from specifically wanting to see your eyes to just more of a general Face ID. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so in your accessibility settings, you will have that option where you can adjust Face ID in this way that, no, just so you guys kind of know, sometimes I'll use Face ID with a beanie on, I'll use Face ID with glasses on, I'll use Face ID with a face mask on, and it still works. Okay, so just so you know, this works really well. And my wife has tried using my Face ID and it still doesn't work on her no matter what she does. So she can't get away with it. But just also so you guys know, my credit card is in her phone and in my phone and in my son's Android phone. So, you're not limited to where you can store your card. You can either put it in Apple Pay, you can put it in another Apple Pay, you can put in a Samsung device for those of you who are using Android. So you're not limited to where you can store these cards. But either way, going back to how accurate, there is a setting on accessibility where you're able to toggle it on and Face ID won't be paying attention if you're looking at your phone. I think that's what it's called, attention.
Not required or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
So
it's helpful.
it is helpful. Now, my advice is they said, when you're scanning your face, make sure you're scanning your resting face, meaning lay down and let it scan your face, because sometimes you're in a relaxed mood. So you want it to get your relaxed mood, and then you want it to kind of get your frustrated mood. Because when you're frustrated trying to use Apple Pay and you can't see it, it'll capture that frustration face. So it's very interesting, but that's the advice I was given by Apple folks.
Oh, wow.
Your relaxed face,
That's
meaning
great.
lay down, your straight face, and your frustrated face.
After you sit in
Never
line
a
behind
smile?
10 people.
No, apparently not that one.
Once you're happy,
No, I
you're
understand.
lucky, Joe.
It was interesting that they told me that. So just so you guys know.
Now, you mentioned that some banks work with Apple
Yeah.
Pay. Does Wells Fargo work with Apple Pay?
Wells Fargo, City, basically
City stuff.
a good amount of banks do.
Yeah.
Like a good large portion of banks. And it's not really what banks, it's the type of card that you'll get. Because some cards, they had to, I mean, I don't know if you guys want to know the details of that stuff, but basically Apple Pay gets a cut, and sometimes the credit card company says, no, you're not going to get a cut. I want the cut, not you. And so, yeah, there's that's the whole another story. But either way, the point is, some credit cards, it doesn't really matter because of the bank. So Wells Fargo will have some cards that don't work with Apple Pay, but they will have some cards that do work with Apple Pay. And you'll see it as soon as you're scanning that card. The Apple Pay will contact your bank and say, does this card have permission to be used with Apple Wallet, basically? And yeah, so the Apple Pay will let you know.
This is Perla. We have a Amazon Whole Foods card, and I know how he did it, but Harvey, my husband, set it through Apple Pay and the Amazon. All he has to do is put his hand over the thing. He doesn't even need his phone anymore, and it goes through. So
Put his
I don't know
what?
exactly how to put that.
And
Yeah, it's like a hand identification thing. So hand ID.
Maybe it's
So yeah,
it's recording the palm print or something.
yeah, I think so.
wow.
Okay. Well, one of the next things that Bevy asked me to talk about a little bit is paying bills and how Susan and I do that with both of us being blind. And one of the things that many banks and credit cards allow you to do is to set up automatic payment for bills. And we've done this with a lot of our bills so that each month, Wells Fargo actually does they pay our bills for us. In other words, the bills that we've set up are recurring bills where we have a pretty good idea of what the amount is going to be. So examples of bills that we have set up for auto pay include our condominium homeowners monthly association dues, PG&E,
Yeah.
our internet and phone service. The one thing that we have not set up for automatic payment are our credit cards.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Now, we always pay our credit cards in full when they come due. But the reason I didn't set those up for automatic payment is I just want to be sure that somebody, that our credit cards haven't been compromised and that somebody hasn't gone and charged, $5,000 or something on one of our cards and have that get auto paid. So we review our credit card statements and pay those bills manually using the Wells Fargo app. But other than that, most of our recurring bills get paid automatically. And I really like that because we do some traveling and it's really nice to not have to deal with paying those bills when we're away from home.
I do this, sorry.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I do the same thing with Chase and is that, like I already mentioned it with the credit cards that Chase, I don't know, do they own them? I don't know, but 4 of my credit cards come through Chase. And so they tell me how much I owe. They tell me all in one little section what has been charged, all that stuff, and when it's due. And then all I have to do is swipe to the right till I get to pay it, and then it's paid. The only one, and then I have a different bank account that does the rent for the mobile home park space and PG&E and all that stuff. But there's only one that stands out differently, and that's the Costco bill because it's Citibank. So when my Costco bill comes in, usually my daughter sees it, but if she's not home, like she was gone all summer, then seeing AI, now I'll use meta glasses, of who the bill is from, open it up, read the page, get the amount, and then I just go to pay bills in the app of the Chase account and go down to Costco and click on it, put the amount in and hit send.
Wow.
So that's how I pay all my bills.
I do want to mention, you guys kind of mentioned, going back to Apple Pay, you can put your Costco membership in your Apple Pay. I just discovered that last week. I put my Costco membership in there and the card information's all in there. So now it's in my Apple wallet. And I was like, oh, that was just a discovery I made last week.
And so
Cool.
you pay your bill with your Apple card?
Yeah. Oh,
but then I still have to pay the Apple card.
Yeah, you still have to, but no, what I mean, no, you're still paying, what I was trying to say is you can, when you're at Costco, you're trying to pay, you can use your Apple Pay. Your Costco card is in there in your Apple wallet.
God.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
John, now that you mentioned, which cards you're having, another thing that I wanted to mention is Apple Pay has a shield where I'm not a big fan of it, but it does work, where your card, let's just say your card ending in 2535, okay? It will mask it and put in another card. So now it's a card ending in 3646. And so when you're paying at a store, it will use a card ending in 3646. It's just a masking card that actually relays the transaction back to your card ending in 2535. So that feature is available on Apple Pay to add that extra protection. The only problem with that is if you wanted to return the item because you're unhappy with the item, the transaction goes to that 3646, which stays in your Apple Cash. So just FYI.
Oh, why don't you explain to everybody about the Apple Cash too?
Apple Cash is kind of like, I would say, what would you say? It's
Like the points on Amazon, you
Peer to peer.
Oh, that's so I guess I was okay, so that's different, right?
Yeah, Apple
So
Cash, yeah.
there's two different types, I guess, that I'm thinking about Apple Cash as in, we can send money to each other. Like John owes me $20,
Right.
John McCauley. So John McCauley can go to my contacts and he can send me $20.
Only if you both have Apple Cash.
Yeah, and then I can send him $20.
Mhm.
We can, if John, I thought John had 20 Apple account, but he didn't. I could request my $20 back, although it does take time to come back. But either way, that is possible. But then there's another thing called Apple Cash where it's a rewards,
Yeah.
where if you do sign up for the Apple debit card, you get 4% cash back.
Right.
That's a pretty good hefty amount to get back. But
Yeah, I know.
yeah, you can get 4% back, or if you open up an Apple savings account, you can get savings 7%. What do you call it?
Interest?
Basically, in rewards, 7% in rewards with the savings account. But yeah, that's just other stuff that Apple's been promoting.
7% interest or 7%?
7% rewards.
So presumably
What's
those
7%?
rewards.
I think I'd be doing.
So you could,
What, John?
I was going to say, I assume that the reward, the 7% that you get for rewards, that is cash, if you will, that you can use in your account for additional purchases. Is that right?
Yeah, she just had to set up an Apple bank and all that
Okay.
stuff.
Okay.
I heard it's slow, but it works.
I've never used the cash. I don't know how. I have some cash saved up, but I don't know how to use it. I guess that's a good thing.
This is Perla. This is news to me because I thought it was you get 3% Apple Cash. You get 3% for anything you buy in an Apple store, and 2% on anything else. I hadn't heard the 4%.
They could have changed.
Interesting.
I know when it started, it was pretty. They started out really high. They could have changed. It's been a while since I was there, but
sounds like a good thing to check into though, and find out what the current rate is.
Yeah, you're right. And all of that is through Goldman Sachs. It's a Goldman Sachs bank.
Yes.
That they use.
Right.
Yeah, that's really good to know too. Let's see, Bevy, what do you want to talk about next?
I don't know.
I could throw in some new ideas in here too.
Sure.
So one of the things that I like to do is, as John mentioned, the way I pay my bills is very interesting. So I am that type of guy that will see a credit card offer and it says get $500 after you spend $1,000. And so what I do is I will apply, and because it says to spend $1,000 on purchases, is I will pay my phone bill 1 year in advance. And so I'll send that $1,000 transaction to my phone bill, and the bank will then reward you those $500 that says that you're going to get back, plus the 2% cash back for spending, $1,000. And now my credit card took care of my phone bill.
Wow.
I do this once a year or so because it does affect your credit score every time you request a new credit card. You get 1 point taken off. That's not too bad. I mean, to me, it's not too bad. So either way, and so this is something I've been in practice for the last 10 years. I always, every year, I will request a new credit card and pay a bill. whether that's PG&E, that's the city, or that's phone bill, anything like that. That's what I tend to do. So that's just something, I don't know if anyone wants to try it out, but just so you know, it does affect your credit score by 1 point. What else have I tried out?
Interesting.
And so when you, I'm sorry.
Genius. Yeah, go ahead.
When you pay your bills, do you do it the way that John and I were talking about, or how is it that you pay your bills?
Yes, I practically am very versatile. So if I'm on my computer, I'll pay them on my computer through the Wells Fargo online. If I'm on my phone, then I'll do it on the phone. If I'm walking, if I'm on the go, I'll tell my earbuds to call Wells Fargo and tell it to pay my bills that way, voice control through my earbuds. And if I am, so depending, what I'm doing. I think Anna has noticed that for whatever reason, I'm just ongoing. Like I'm just moving around 24/7. My wife will complain about it later, but either way, I'm constantly moving. So I have this need to figure out stuff on the go. Like just, I don't know why, but I'm constantly wanting to do something new. Either way, so yes, I do what you guys do, Bevy. I pay online through the app, or I'll do it on the computer or through voice control.
Well, it's like my phone and my life insurance policy. I have them both set up on auto pay, which I really like having.
I know a lot of phone companies, if you do auto pay, they'll give you a discount. So
Yeah.
that's why I do auto pay
Well,
on phone.
That's like with my phone, because I got Cricket. If I go into the store, they charge me an extra $4. But if I have the auto pay, they only charge me the $30, that's what my bill is. So I like having it.
So I didn't know that you could, I wonder if that's true with Chase too, that I don't feel like I need to, but that I could call and is it automatic? Do you get, that little automatic person that you just press 1 to pay your bill from your checking account or whatever? How does that work for you when you call them?
So what I do is you can link your accounts, right? So you're able to link, there's a long process before that. You'll link your accounts and it'll basically look at it as you're sending money to another account, but what you're in reality doing is you're sending a bill.
So Roberto, you use the voice control. Are you interacting with an automated system or a live person?
Automated system.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so like for example, Best Buy, right? Let's just say I owe money to Best Buy. I'll call Best Buy. Best Buy will then I would tell them, yes, I'm trying to pay a bill. And once Best Buy is like, okay, let me pull up your account. The machine is doing all this. It pulls up your account, it pulls up your balance. You already linked your Wells Fargo account to the Best Buy account. So now you can just tell it, pay the statement balance or pay the minimum due. And so you can kind of do it like that.
So you don't actually call the bank, then you call the person you want to pay.
Yes.
Got it.
So you can call anyone like that, like AT&T. Yeah. You already had linked them together.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's good to know.
It is good to know. I love this program.
Mr. Roberto, just to clarify, when you're doing the automated with Wells Fargo, is that their main number that has all of that, or is that something in the app? Could you?
I use a main number. I don't know if when we mean the main number, if we're all talking about the same main number, but I do use a main number.
Wells Fargo. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't know, Holly, what you're meaning for that, but I thought that's why I clarified if I want to pay Amazon, then I would call Amazon and hit the button, hit 2 for pay bill, and then hit 3 for pay the whole thing. And then now I didn't even have to talk to anybody. Now my Chase bank account's going to pay Amazon.
Because she already set up Amazon with her Chase account.
Got it.
Yeah,
So she doesn't call the bank, she calls Amazon.
Right.
It's already set up.
Yeah.
She's linked it, like he said. The linking is the key.
Linking them, yeah.
Yeah. Once you link them, it's a lot easier. I mean, you just, depending, because some banks are like, we want your routing number and your account number, not your
Yeah.
card number. And it's like, okay,
That's what I
fine.
had to go
So I had
through.
to,
My life insurance.
I got to remember my routing number all the time, and I always forget it. So I always get it mixed up with my old routing number. But for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to matter what routing number I give it. It still works. It
Yeah.
still goes through.
You know what happens
That's
to me
funny.
sometimes? I need to call for something, and they go, like especially Comcast, and it's all done by computer. I mean, it's a robot. So the first thing you ask me is, "What's your billing account number?" Well, I don't know. It's like damn thing's 10 digits long. So you know what I do? If I can't do it, sometimes I press 0, and I get a person on the phone.
Right.
Yeah,
I think they charge you for that though.
I know they don't.
I don't think so.
Oh,
And double
Huh.
check, like if you happen to use Xfinity or one of those, they have a separate accessibility phone number that you call,
Right.
and you'll get a live person,
Oh,
generally
yeah.
in the United States,
Oh,
that
that's great.
immediately jumps on,
Yeah, I didn't know that.
recognizes you, and will just deal with everything. So,
Oh, I didn't know that.
so
Yeah.
whichever,
Chase has accessibility too.
yeah. So double check with your companies to see if they do have special services, through accessibility.
Well, I do have Xfinity, so
Um,
Roberto?
I'll try to put it, maybe, gosh, newsletter's coming out this weekend. I don't know if I can squeeze it in or not. Last February, we ran all the accessibility phone numbers for all the different companies. And if I can, I re-verify all those numbers before I put it in the newsletter. And if I can get that done, I'll put it in this
a
next
lot of
week.
these companies they don't tell you a lot of that stuff,
Oh yeah, they keep it hidden.
do you
Yeah,
have
they
to
do.
set up your account with the accessibility line
No.
before you call?
No.
To use it?
No.
Oh. Well,
Roberto?
How do you find that phone number?
Yes.
Look in the newsletter.
Pat,
yes.
Pat, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm wondering, because I do my banking entirely different. I have Chase account, I just have 2 cards, my Chase and my Amazon card. And I use my Amazon card because I get the 5% back when I use Amazon shopping. But the other one I use for everything. So I'm wondering why the separate accounts, like at Best Buy, because I put everything on my credit card and I just know where it's at and I have it automatically paid. I call, make sure there's enough money in it and that sort of thing. Does that so why do you have a Best Buy account, so to speak?
Or a Costco account.
Yeah, I have a
A lot of people do.
I have a Costco, but I still put it on my Chase card.
So something like, for example, Best Buy, usually when you buy their, I'm pretty sure like Home Depot, these other stores probably do it too. But when you buy an appliance, they'll give you those 36 months to pay it off or something like that.
No
24
24 months
interest, yeah.
with no interest.
That's good.
And so you get to do it that way. Or if you have the money saved up, you can get a 5, like as you mentioned, with like Amazon, you get a 5% back or something like that.
Yeah.
For the purchase. So if you're buying a $2,000 washer dryer setup, then 5% back is $100. So take it.
Oh, I guess
Better
it's
than
because,
nothing.
I guess it's pretty much because I'm old and don't buy a lot of appliance and that sort of thing now. So I just do it the simple way and get the 1.5% and go with that.
So Pat, are you saying that you pay your iPhone bill and your insurance and all that stuff with your Chase credit card?
Yes.
That's how people really rack up their mileage, is when they do that too. So they
Yeah,
get
yeah, you
free
can get
flights.
mileage cards
I
for that.
used to do that on traveling stuff. And Roberto, I've done with the opening the credit card thing, but I never knew there was $500. Where do you find that sort of thing?
So it really, I don't know how the algorithm is set up, honestly. That is an interesting algorithm because I tried getting my wife to get there and I never been successful. My cousins and I always would receive that $300 to $500. but the one that gave us $500 was American Express.
Ah,
I've been jumping through credit cards like crazy. So every 6 months or so, I have a new credit card, whether American Express, Citi, Master, Discover. I played with all of them, and I'm going to give you guys a little funny story because American Express isn't accepted everywhere. But if you set it up through like Samsung Pay or Apple Pay, and you put the masking on, it's now accepted everywhere. Either way, going on to another story. So
oh, it's because you're getting more points back on some cards, is that, but you choose it for cash back on like charging $1,000 and getting so much by opening the card.
what was that again?
So you open a card in order to charge on it to get $500 back or something.
Yeah, so I would open up a new account, and that's what I mean. Like your credit score gets scanned, and you go and you open up a brand new card. So I tend to do that every 6 months. I always open up a new credit card.
Well, how do you find which credit card has got the money coming? A guy used to do it with Chase. They had it every year they had it, you can get, if you open a checking account, you got so much money back. And if
they come to my house every month, I get like 10 credit card offers. And that's probably because
They got his number.
they know who I am. They know where I live now. And so at my house, every week I will have 3-5 new credit card offers. And so I just kind of throw away most of them, like, oh, $200 no, or $100 no.
so you're
this
in
away.
that mode. I used to get the credit card offers. They just stopped offering me anything anymore. They know I'm not going to do it.
Right, he does it so he gets
Yeah,
more.
get
more.
yourself.
That's the algorithm.
Like me, I got a friend, she wants to open up a new, because she's got that word, Social Security card, Social Security gives you that card. So now she's looking for a bank to where they'll give her money for opening up the account. And she wants to find one that's gonna give her $500. I go, good, well, good luck on that.
Yeah, I've never seen
And
that.
she,
Not a bank.
she gets all the credit cards too.
I wonder if there's an app that tells you that kind of stuff.
There's a website. In fact, there's several websites. If you Google credit card offers, there are sites that just tabulate all of that, and you can just look down it's basically like a big giant spreadsheet.
It is.
And you can just look and see who's offering what.
But I don't think banks offer $500 to open an account
They won't
unless
give
you
you
have a
like,
high balance
Well,
requirement.
she's money hungry.
Yeah, it's a high balance requirement for something like that, I
Yeah.
would think.
I was
Yeah.
going to say, this is Bob. I was going to say, my wife and I do the PAT method. We have one credit card between us, and everything we do gets charged to that one single credit card, which happens to be through Wells Fargo. And we get bonus money through them that directly pays our mortgage.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And so that's why we only use one credit card and don't have to worry about paying anybody else. It's all through Wells Fargo.
So what's the percentage you get? Points.
I'd have to go back and look, but it was worth it to do it. It was a substantial amount per year that we get credited towards.
Oh, okay,
Really?
because I get a substantial amount for the little bit I spend.
Yeah, but it's just easier to keep track of one card and
Yes, it definitely is.
don't have to pay all these other bills.
Okay, if you let me know how much,
Have the cards.
let me know how much Wells Fargo pays. I may just be tempted.
Sure, I'll let you know.
Bob,
Thanks.
Yes, Perla?
this is Perla. Bob, do you have your mortgage with them too?
Yes. Well, no, excuse me.
That
Yes, we do. They recently sold it, but they still credit us that money every month.
Is it like
Even though they
hundreds
sold our mortgage to another
Is it like
company.
hundreds of dollars?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
yeah, like I'm paying. That's why I pay all my bills with my credit card. It's kind of like what I was doing, right?
Yeah.
Like you pay. I mean, you're already going to pay that energy bill. You're going to pay that city bill. You're going to pay that T-Mobile bill.
Yeah.
Or Verizon, AT&T bill, Cricket bill, whatever it is you're paying. You're already going to pay. So might as well just charge it to the credit card and then you get rewarded for it. And so now there you go. You just
Rather than the auto pay to those folks.
Well, with me, I just, I have two cards. I have a credit card and a debit card. And I use my debit card most of the time because it's just, for me, it's just easier. You pay for something, it's right in there, you know, you don't
Yeah.
pay.
But you don't get
And-
any extra free money.
Yeah. And then- well, yeah, but then I go to REI and I use my credit card. And the two reasons why I do that, one reason is I get so much dividend back from every year. And the other, like last week, I had a coupon I got from them for $40 off, and I couldn't resist that. Yeah,
And they knew you couldn't resist it.
so yeah, I mean, it's on
Hey,
a
I've
credit
never
card.
had a credit card.
And I could have, yeah, and usually I don't get those, but every once in a while I get a coupon from or especially a dividend card every year, you know, for a few dollars. Sometimes it depends how much you spend over there.
This is Bob. I wanted to kind of go back to the cash identification thing real quick. Just this week, there was a group of us that were using our meta glasses. We had a little get together to share information about our meta glasses, and one of our meta glass friends cautioned us that when she was using the meta glasses to identify currency, that it repeatedly identified a $100 bill as a $10 bill.
Oh man,
So if you're using your meta glasses, just double check all the time.
yeah.
it's a little.
That's kind of AI for you because I think anyways, because AI is so new that we can't all the time believe what it's saying. I mean,
Right.
lots of people say that. And I think the more they say, the more we use it, the better it'll get. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds like Apple Intelligence right now. It still needs a long way to go.
Yeah.
It's like the navigation when it first came out. I remember how many mistakes it made and it was so hard getting around, but now it's like it just moves you around real easily.
Right.
It does. It's so seamless.
I discovered this app. Well, I asked Roberto about it. It's called Soundscape, and I'm not really into it yet, but I know a little bit. And what it does, it'll identify stuff as you walk down the street or in a van.
Mhm.
I tried it out yesterday, and it identified everything: Dominican hospital bus stop. It told what the crosswalks, you know, what's in front of you. So it was really interesting. So
Which one was that, John?
it's called Soundscape.
Oh, Soundscape. Mhm, thank you.
And
Mhm.
the thing about it is not all. I don't know a lot about it. I'm just learning about it, and there's more to it than that.
Soundscape, I believe, is the one that the guy that has
Amos. Amos.
thank you.
Amos?
Yeah,
Hmm.
Amos, he's the one that invented that soundscape. Yeah.
Too, with
Well,
the
that's
meta
what it
glasses,
uses.
Diane, with the meta glasses, what I do if I don't think it is identifying something right is I wait. I don't ask it again right away. I wait at least 15 to 20 seconds and then I'll ask it again.
Uh-huh. And somebody said the other day, one of our friends said the other day that if it's being cuckooed, if you slide it off of your face and then put it back on your face, the sunglasses that is, then sometimes that'll fix it.
All right, let's talk about stocks. Here we go.
Okay. Oh, John can talk about stocks.
Well, Debbie had actually asked me to talk a little bit about investing, and I don't know how deep we want to get into things, but you know, these days, unfortunately, if you put some of your extra money into a bank account, whether it be a checking account or savings account, the amount of interest that is paid is pennies. And so one of the things that you can do is, of course, through banks, and you can purchase CDs, certificates of deposit, that will pay you, you know, a higher return than just investing money in or putting money in a bank account. But the other thing you can do if you really are interested in getting involved with investing is, as I think it was Roberto just said, he mentioned stocks, and you can buy and sell stocks. Now, before you decide to do that, you want to make some informed decisions about, is this something I'm going to do on my own, or am I going to get some help from a company that handles investments? In other words, an investment advisor that can help you decide how much risk you're willing to take, how much money you want to invest in different companies and that sort of thing. And that's the route that Susan and I have taken. We have an investment company that we work with. The one that we use happens to be called Saratoga Research Investment Management. Saratoga is the city that we live in, and the two brothers that started this company, I actually went to high school with. And they currently are managing about $2 billion. That's billion with a B, of venture capital.
And is that all yours, John?
No, I only have about half of it. But no, in all seriousness, these guys, I've been working with them since 2011. And right now they have me invested in about 25 different companies. And they have been getting me a return of approximately 10% per year.
Wow.
And what I do is I fortunately have decided that the money we're investing is money that we don't need right now. We don't need it to pay bills or anything like that. So what I've been doing since 2011 is just letting this account grow. And so when there are dividends that are paid, they just get reinvested. And when I look at the original amount of money that we put into the account in 2011 versus what the account has in it today, this 10% per year that we've been getting, which compounds, it's mind-boggling how much money the account can make for you. And so that's what we've been doing. And I really feel good working with people that make this their business, because I don't want to study the market. I don't want to study different companies. The investment company that we're using, I think, charges us 1% per year of our total account value, which in the research that I've done is a pretty standard fee. But to be honest, I'm happy to pay that fee because I wouldn't know what to do myself. I wouldn't know what to buy, what to sell, when to buy, when to sell, and that sort of thing. And it's not how I want to spend my time. I'm really glad having professionals do that for me. So that's just a little bit about investing that we're doing.
Yeah, I know when I was back working, I got into a 401k plan, and the money we paid into that, they were investing whatever we decided to put in with other companies and stuff. And then they sold out and it went to another company, and then it turned into an IRA, which worked out pretty good too for me. So.
Oh, I would definitely recommend, for anyone who is working, if your company offers a 401k plan or a 403b plan, if the company you work for is a nonprofit, especially if they have some matching funds that they put into your account to help your investments, I definitely recommend people take advantage of that and invest the maximum amount that they allow you to invest, or at least the maximum amount that they will match. Because if you don't do that, as the old saying goes, you're just leaving money on the table. if you're
Yeah.
not benefiting from their maximum match.
The thing I liked about mine was that if you took it out early, they penalized you. And then if you left it in there until you hit retirement age, which I did, I didn't get a penalty for it or anything. Which, like I said, it ended up working out really good for me.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I wish I still had it, but I had to cash it in to survive on. Because I wasn't getting enough from Social Security at that time.
Sure.
But now I'm doing a little bit better.
Well, I'm on disability SSI. I can't even do that.
Yeah, I'm on retirement.
It does require that you have a little bit of extra money that that you're able to set aside for that purpose, and that that you don't need it right away.
Yeah. No, I had mine in there for, I think, like 8-9 years before I had to cash it out. So like I said, it worked out pretty good for me by having that money just put away. I mean, there was times that would go up, but then there would be times that would go down. But when I pulled it out, it was at a good time when it was up.
Yeah, they say you want to invest low and sell high, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what we all try to do, I think.
Yeah.
But anybody else have any comments or ideas that they'd like to mention regarding investing?
I'm addicted to numbers.
Mhm.
So
Unfortunately, I have too.
so one of my strategies for investing has been when unfortunately every time there is a a bankruptcy, or the country's falling apart, or the world's just not doing too well, that is the best time to buy stocks. And so that's been my strategy for back in 2020 with COVID, when COVID hit. I for whatever reason, no one believed me, but I remember hearing about the whole COVID flu back in November of 2019, and that wasn't a quite, no one really cared about it. But either way, I heard about it in November of 2019, so I was like, oh, there's supposed to be a flu, blah 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 blah. Cut story short, we ranked up a lot of some funds, and then around February, when that month started to come, the stock market started to pivot downwards. And as March came along, stocks, were slashed 50%, 70%. So we just dove in, and we invested a large amount. And so those returns is, they came back triple, and we're like, this is gold. And so we did, I like to usually focus on index funds. And but during that time, we focused on other areas that we knew were going to come back. It just didn't make sense that Disney was going to stay all the way down. Like, just didn't. Like, yes, the amusement park was going to be closed for that time, but we knew the amusement park would eventually open. So things like that made sense to me. So we invested in there, just in different areas.
Yeah.
And eventually we sold out, and waited for another market to collapse again, and bought again. So I tend to, when I see the market doing too well, I tend to sell out, as you guys were mentioning. And then when you see the market doing very poorly, when everyone's getting scared, I tend to buy in. So
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
like me. I listen on the
Oh.
local news. They
I-
show the stock, what the stocks are doing, like the Dow Jones and S&P 500 and them. And as long as they're doing good, we know we're doing good.
yes, and that's when you sell.
Yeah.
When you hear the news, my strategy, when you hear the news saying everyone's buying gold, that means you sell gold.
Yeah.
When you hear the
I'm
news, saying the complete basically my strategy has been do the opposite of the news.
Yeah. I bought a bunch of gold coins that are going to go up into value anyway. And what I did, I gave them to my youngest daughter to hang on to. And I told her, I go, nobody gets any of it until I pass away. there's one coin for each grandkids. I got 7 grandkids. And then there's 2 left, one for her and one for my other daughter. And all they're gonna do is go up in value. Long as gold's doing good, they'll do good. Because these are like 24 karat gold coins.
Oh, wow.
So
Good
it was a good,
sizes.
it was a good investment on my part. You know, I mean, I don't get to see my grandkids and stuff that much, but you know, at least they'll know I left them something.
Oh,
That is true, yeah.
Yeah.
That is very nice.
Yeah. And it made me feel good by doing that.
Yeah.
There's also, so if anyone, I know investing for the, someone with a disability can be a little, how would you say? Because, you could lose your disability benefits.
Yep.
And so there are disability lawyers that focus on benefits. And I spoke to a few of them, and they are willing to make sure that even though you're investing and you have stocks or you have assets, they are willing to make sure that you still get the maximum benefits that you deserve without losing. So there are attorneys that, law firms that focus on making sure.
I remember when I was on disability, I wasn't allowed to have any more than $2,000 in my
Still
account
that
at
way.
any time. Yeah, but now that I'm on retirement, I can have more than that,
Yeah.
which is good.
Mhm.
You know, because I kept trying to figure out all the time, well, how do these people can buy houses and brand new cars and everything else, and they're on retirement, but you're not supposed to have more than $2,000. And then that's when I found out I can have more than 2,000.
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
I don't know how much more, but
Well, unfortunately, I live in subsidized housing, so what happens is if I get any money, my rent goes up.
yeah.
Right.
That's the only problem.
Well, that's like where I live at it. Every year they raise our rent because it's federally regulated building.
Yeah, it's subsidized housing.
Yeah.
But through the HUD program, there's actual programs within there that still allow you to buy a house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. So
When my wife Susan was single, she read a book that she thought was very helpful, and this book is called "Smart Women Finish Rich." And when you first hear that title, you think that maybe the person writing it is a little arrogant or that sort of thing, but it really isn't the case. It was written by an investment person, actually here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I have not read the whole book myself, but I've kind of skimmed through it, and it does have some real good advice for people on investing, saving, and all kinds of strategies and so forth. This book is available on NLS Bard, so you can download it or request it on cartridge from the Sacramento Library. And I believe it's also available for download from Bookshare for people who have a Bookshare account. And so I just wanted to mention it because when I was working on notes for today, Susan reminded me of that book yesterday, and it really is a book that is a good read.
Can you mention the title again, please?
The title is Smart Women Finish Rich.
Okay.
That's a good title.
It is a good title.
That's like where I live at. People think I'm a bank because I've always got money on me, and they're always knocking at my door. Can I borrow?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. A lot of them are on disability for one reason or another, and they just go through their money. Next thing I know, they're knocking at my door wanting to borrow money. A lot of times I'll help them out, but there's a lot of times I won't.
Well, Sam, rather, I have people other too that they're actually jealous of me. Oh, you have this and you have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm getting the same amount of money as some of you people are.
Yeah.
You just, I found that, you know, with me, I used to work in a bike shop at one time for a while. It was, you know, it's like 20, 30, it's more like back in the 1980s, it was pretty rough. You know, we had Reagan in there. And I learned how to fix, you know, how to repair stuff, bikes. So that goes in anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I could put circuits in at a house. I did it in my apartment, which I wasn't supposed to, but the place was kind of in bad shape. All the circuitry is wired upside down. It was crazy, man. So the maintenance gonna let me do it. You know, I said, here you go. He says, here's a box. Let me know if you need help. And I rewired my whole house, my whole apartment.
Wow.
Wow.
And I never told anybody that. You know, I didn't tell the management that. They knew it. They didn't say nothing. So I rewired everything, and the only thing I needed help with was there's a plug in my bedroom. I had a double plug, like it had a switch on one end, and you have the plug when you plug in. So I got help with that, which wasn't too hard. And I did it all myself, except for that. And you know, that's the way it worked.
So does anybody have any, anything they want to add to finances?
Nope.
Just keep an eye on your money.
Just do things you don't.
Only thing I would add is, this is Pat.
Yes.
Yeah, only thing I would add, tell your grandchildren if they're working and they have a 401k plan, to at least put in what is matched. Because that's
Yeah, put in the max.
Yeah.
at least that, and start from the time you start working and keep doing it, because that's the thing that saved me.
The thing I liked about my 401k when I got into it, it was automatically taken out of my paycheck.
Yes, yes.
So.
So
that
you
was
live
good.
on what you get.
Yeah. Well, I was getting a pretty good paycheck, so. I did.
Well, I wasn't, but I made it work anyway.
Yeah, I did manufactured homes for 30 years.
Uh,
The problem nowadays, man, everything's so damn expensive.
Yep.
Like you downtown, those places they built down there.
Mhm.
I knew a friend of mine lives down there. He's paying $3,000 a month.
Mhm.
He works over the hill, but he's still not making enough money to pay, you know,
Yeah.
to save. Imagine paying $3,000 a month for a studio apartment.
Well, if you want to live in Santa Cruz County.
It doesn't matter. California, the whole state's that way.
Well, I don't know.
It's
about
expensive to
Fresno.
live in California. Yeah,
What's that?
it's cheap over in Fresno.
Yeah, exactly.
I lived over there for 6 months.
Yeah.
Only problem is it gets pretty hot over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I love the heat.
There's air conditioning.
Yeah.
yeah,
You're-
but then
just
you pay
imagine,
for that too.
You're not-
not supposed.
swamp coolers.
you're not going to be outdoors 24/7.
No.
This is an indirect financial investment. If you're planning on doing any home repairs, jump on it as soon as you can, because all building materials are going to skyrocket in price because of the fires in Southern
Oh,
California.
good point.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So what he's saying is buy all the lumber you can and then sell it.
No,
That might be price.
get your projects done that you want to get done while you can afford them.
That's what happened with the fires in our area too, is that our
Yes.
roof we could get a new roof, and we still haven't, but my daughter was told that don't do it now. If you could possibly hold off, because those prices will go down after all this building needs to happen. So
Yeah.
it's the same idea.
But it's going to be, it'll be years.
I don't think it's gonna go down.
Well, you know what insurance is
Most
gonna
of
take
us
too.
are-
A lot of
As long
It doesn't go down.
As long as it
I know
takes
that.
that LA area to rebuild, the prices are gonna stay up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I'm wondering,
insurance.
That's gonna take them
I need
years.
windows.
What's that, Pat?
Has anybody heard anything about the fencing in California? Because there was some talk about that we'd have to do metal fencing, not redwood fencing, because of the fire thing and the insurance.
I
No.
don't think it's much, it's crazy.
I haven't heard anything on that,
Mhm.
but it would be a good idea.
I think the only thing I've heard is about it is that all fire insurance is canceled.
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah.
What?
Unless you have a loan, right?
Well, you
Unless-
check into that. Don't believe what I just said.
What did you just say?
But
All
a lot of
fire-
bank
people have
loans are
lost
not
their
canceled.
fire insurance because they needed it. So, check into it, check into your own.
Because the insurance
More often than not, if
company
you have a
can't pay
bank
it
loan,
out.
they're not canceled. But
Yeah,
they might make you pay more, but they're not canceling it because the bank's not gonna let you have a loan without insurance.
Fire insurance,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Also, my son called and said that if you have your home in a trust, you need to add that to your insurance, because some of the insurance companies apparently in Southern California are saying that the trust is not named on the insurance, so it doesn't cover it.
Thank you.
Any
for that.
excuse.
It's been on my list for a while because we did that last year and updated our trust, and I haven't done that. Thank you.
I haven't done it either.
To put-
I haven't either, so I'm reminding myself.
Oh my gosh. Okay, it's going on my list right now.
Huh,
especially on a manufactured home, it would be good to
yeah,
have fire insurance on it.
yeah, I'm not sure if I think we lost ours when we had the fire.
Because,
Fires up
they
there.
came out with that hardy siding, which is a concrete siding, concrete and fiberglass siding,
Oh,
Yeah.
I've seen that.
and it won't burn.
I have that on my house. That was the best thing we've done.
Yes,
And my insurance has not canceled me at all. And,
yeah,
and up the
they-
street house, the same as mine, they were canceled.
yeah, they're recommending everybody to use that hardy siding.
oh, we just got
It's a
that.
good investment,
Mm.
It really is.
yeah.
I heard when there's a fire coming at, when you know maybe a day or two that there's a fire heading towards your direction, water your plants as much as you can.
Yeah.
So I was like, huh,
That
okay.
makes sense. That makes sense.
That's what the people in LA were doing. I guess they were all pulling out their hoses and
Yeah,
before it came to their house.
Even pulling out some of the plants, I understand, which makes
Yeah.
sense too. Although they dry out fast. So, yeah, but definitely put your trust on your insurance.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. that's
Well, see, what
exactly-
people don't realize, and I saw this on Channel 15 in a documentary about fire. And one of the things they mentioned is that fire doesn't come to your house and burn it. What happens is the embers of the fire
Yeah,
Mhm.
go ahead of it and they hit your house.
yeah, and that's what causes the fire.
And that's why they're saying the best thing you can do is you build your house with, fire proof stuff like
Yeah,
your roof. And also they're saying that if you build a house, you make sure you enclose your eaves so the fires can't get in.
Right.
Yeah. That's
yeah, you put that soffit up there.
yeah. And make sure you clear it with 100-foot space around your
Yeah,
property.
so we're getting kind of close to the end. Has anybody got anything they want to add to the finances?
So if anyone wants to learn and practice Apple Pay, I know I mentioned this last time, feel free to schedule a time to come here at Vista, and we have a machine. We can practice Apple Pay here, so that you kind of get adjusted to that when you're at the store.
Yeah, that would be a good thing to
so-
do.
Feel free. We're open Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays. If
Yeah,
you
yeah.
and we can set up your the payment to be $100 donation. So
To
Where-
your checking account, right? Ding.
payable to Roberto.
And I just want to remind everybody to please send in ideas of things that you'd like for us to continue tips and tricks with. Yeah, we have something set up for next month, but I'm honestly not too crazy about it. So we'll do it unless somebody else, but they have to come up quick because of the newsletter.
I think the only thing I'd want to.
What is it?
It's what is it, Bob?
Household tips.
Household tips.
Oh.
So the whole house, that it could in laundry or closets or we've done labeling,
good
but
tip for
it's all kinds of anywhere in the house.
Good thing.
Well, probably me, I
I
live in an
wear
apartment.
my apartment really easy.
I live in an apartment where they have these machines, but you got to tap your card on these
Yeah, we got those.
Yeah.
too.
And if if you're visually impaired, that's kind of rough.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I want to get on that too. And
Yeah.
supposedly there's a phone app that you can use, but I don't know how to do
Yeah.
that.
I got an in-home support worker that does my laundry.
Well, that's the problem, there's nothing wrong with having a worker, but here's the problem. I learned a long time ago that don't always depend on somebody else.
Yeah, no,
Anyways, let's get
he's
back
real
to-
dependable and everything, so I really don't worry about him.
Let's
too
get back to the whole group. So anyways, if anybody's got any ideas, please send them forward.
Thank you, John. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. This has really been a lot of fun, and I look forward to continuing to join and participate as a client. So thank you.
Yay. We want you,
Informational.
John.